Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Blu-ray Hunter Reviews. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I am the Blu-ray Hunter. And this is talking about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I watched the Indicator version. Thank you, Indicator, for having subtitles, by the way, something that I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to get. Um, and because a lot of boutique labels sometimes have subtitles, sometimes do not. And I was very happy to have them. So I just first of all I want to say that I had never seen this movie before. This was a first time watch, and I wasn't even sure how I'd feel, if this was even something I'd be really that interested in exactly. I had just seen In the Heat of the Night, and I had rewatched The Graduate. Interestingly enough, all three of those movies were up for the 1968 Academy Awards. They all released in 67, including Bonnie and Clyde and Dr. Dolittle and a bunch of other films. And the this was interesting. Like this was up against like a Sydney. It was Sydney versus Sydney, basically. And honestly, I after having seen most of those movies, I haven't seen the Doctor Dolittle, but I'm pretty sure it would win Best Picture over these because really what the Academy looks for is like the best film of like, of time, and whatnot. And I think that the Doctor Dolittle's more entertainment purposes, but wow, this movie should have won Best Picture. In the Heat of the Night won. Katharine Hepburn won for Best Actress, and they won for Best Writer. Spencer Tracy should also have won for Best Actor, but would he have been the Best Actor? Would he have been Best Supporting Actor? Because Sidney Poitier, what would he have been? It was tough. On this cover, Spencer Tracy is first, Sidney is second, and Katharine Hepburn is next. The actress in it, Catherine Houghton, uh, the main girl in it, she does such a wonderful job. Everybody in this, I mean, I cried. Like I didn't know what to expect. But I knew it was about mixed race relationships, and a lot of that back in the 60s was really hard to deal with, and there were a lot of issues. But I'm very glad like a movie like this came out because it was able to, you know, draw people in and sort of kind of come together, and watch it from both sides and hopefully come together with thing of actually thinking this was, this ending and this stuff is the way it should be. Um, so if you don't know the movie, I'm gonna suggest you turn off and watch it. Go watch it, then come back and listen to the review because about to spoil the shit out of some stuff. But it's been around for a while. Plus, if you can, go like and if you like this, video and go subscribe because I do more reviews, I do interviews, I do lots of different stuff on the show, and the review is part of it. So to go back to basically, I mean, the story is pretty simple. This couple here, right here, are they just met each other in Hawaii. They basically fly. I mean, they met each other in Hawaii. They fell in love. They want to get married really super quick. I don't understand any of the importance of them doing it so quickly. Like, I understand they're in love and they want to be married, but like, I mean, sometimes, especially for me, I think it's like time to, you should start planning a wedding. You should start doing all these things. But then, I mean, they really just want to just go right into it. And maybe that's just, whatever of that time. I don't know. Nowadays they would just want to probably be engaged, but I mean, nowadays it's a little less of an issue as it was back in the 60s. In the 60s, this was a really big deal. But back in now, I mean, it's still a big deal. Like, I'm not saying race issues aren't, at all, and especially mixed race aren't at all a problem, but I just I don't see it as much as this, and I think I feel like a lot of people handle it a lot more diplomatically than what probably would have gone on back then. Because even and I saw something like in a lot of it that I was like, oh man, because like nobody wants to be labeled a racist, like nobody. And there's a scene where, Spencer Tracy is talking to Katharine Hepburn, and she basically says, Sidney Poitier's character, John, is right, in saying that the relationship, like they brought her up to be very opinionated, very but also know that you know there's no idea of race in her mind. She thinks that everybody is the same color. And that's what they brought her up to believe, and that's what they truly believed and everything. And that's sort of where the time has been changing. But, they never told her not to date as, quote unquote, a colored man. And I think that's exactly true. Like, I think they did not ever tell her that. And I feel like that was a big deal. Like, okay, we never said that, but like they think they should have, but they didn't. And that's the problem with, like, that they're in right now, their predicament. They've never said that to her, and they feel like they should have. But Katharine Hepburn's character, she's absolutely loves her daughter and respects any decision her daughter makes. John John comes in and kind of gives them an ultimatum, which he says an ultimatum in the movie, and the doctor doesn't correct him, and I don't know if that was supposed to be the case where he said pronounced it wrong, and the doctor would know and did not correct him because it would be rude to correct your elder. I don't know. Or if maybe that's how they really thought like it was supposed to be, but I don't know. But anyway, said ultimate, basically set up an ultimatum where, if you don't want me to marry your daughter, if there's any reservations, I won't do it. And I love how like later when she finds out, she said that's a funny thing to say. Um, because she was never going to give up on him. And he really, I mean, he has talk with his mother, and his mother, who also basically come to dinner. That was the thing. I thought Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was the guy, and I thought there was going to be like a Guess Who's Coming to Dinner line, and there was, but it was about the parents. And then later, Guess Who Else is coming? And so it becomes sort of a joke, like everybody just keeps coming to dinner. And then they have the dinner at the end, but you don't watch it. Like the dinner really isn't the thing, And I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be all over dinner. They're going to be eating dinner and they're going to be discussing this, and it was not what I expected, which actually was better than I expected. So we get into like this discussion before dinner and everything. And because the parents want to meet her, so they fly down to San Francisco from Los Angeles to come meet her. A 40-hour or 40-minute trip apparently. And so they're very happy to be there, but when they see the father has a problem. The mother knows the father has a problem. The mother's a bit shocked, and I think more of that is that they weren't aware of what's going to happen before. It's a surprise to everybody. Um, so there's a few really great scenes in the movie that I loved. My favorite scene is what Spencer Tracy walks in, and the Spencer Tracy walks in, talks to the every the wife and the daughter and says, I'm, you know, I'm surprised, or what he gets kind of sidetracked on this whole thing. Like he gets kind of uh thrown into the whole thing. And he was supposed to go play golf with Monsieur Michael or whatever. And he is this, instead he decides to take a break because like this is big news. Like they want to get married. They want to get married like really super quick in Geneva. And they but they want to let the parents know first. And really, I mean, Sidney Poitier's character wants the blessing. And he is such a nice person. Oh, I forgot to mention Tilly. Tilly is one of my favorite actresses too. Ladies, and she was in The Jeffersons and all this other stuff, and she was just so funny. Because the whole time she's like, "Oh my God, all hell's gonna break loose," and she's very prejudiced against like she didn't like the fact that her own race was gonna get married to somebody she worked for, and stuff, and so there's a lot of like, you know, there's not just like mixed race issues, there's also race issues, like same race issues and stuff. Um, the ice cream scene felt really weird, but like at first I was like, why are we watching this stuff? And then when he crashes his car into a black guy, and the black guy's like, it took me, 3 months to get this car like this, and he's like, here's $50, go buy a new one. And I was just like, oh man, it did not make him look good, in the eyes of uh the the African American community, and it was just strange, and the guy was like, and there's a little ageism stuff there going on. It just there was just so much that happened in this movie in just a short amount of time, and I mean it's an hour and 48 minutes, but like a lot happens. And a lot of it's just talk. I mean, it almost felt like a play a little bit. A lot of monologues, a lot of speeches or just little soliloquies, things like that, and little exchanges, witty exchanges. Very funny movie for something that's very serious, very serious issue. But I'm very glad it was a comedy. I love that. I laughed my ass off at it. So if you buy the indicator version, which I have, it comes with four introductions. One with Karen Kramer, who is the former wife of Stanley Kramer, the director. Stanley Kramer did movies like Inherit the Wind, The Defiant Ones, Ship of Fools, which I believe you can also get from Indicator, and a few other films. And I think he also did It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And so he's done a lot of amazing, amazing work. And he directed this film. It had a message. But it was so funny. Like you don't see many movies like that today. So she speaks for a little bit, for like 3 minutes. Steven Spielberg speaks for 1 minute. Tom Brokaw speaks for 3 minutes. Quincy Jones speaks for 3 minutes. Then there's a 30-minute A Love Story for Today featurette documentary, like production retrospective. A Special Kind of Love 17-minute documentary featuring archival recordings of Katharine Hepburn. Stanley Kramer, A Man's Search for Truth, a look at Kramer's vision. Stanley Kramer accepts the Irving Thalberg Award in 1961. In 2007, Producers Guild, Stanley Kramer Award presentation to an Inconvenient Truth. Isolated score experience Frank DeVol's original soundtrack music. Image gallery, production, promotional photograph, photography, and original theatrical trailer. So lots of cool stuff. So I absolutely love this movie. I think if you get the chance to buy it or own it, and you watch it, you know, I think you'll take away from something, you know. Um, Even if you don't feel like you're at all racist in some way or another, which I'm not, or I don't believe I am, but there are times I'm identifying with, like, yeah, they're back in the 60s, especially there'd be issues. Um, but man, there's a moment in the movie where oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Spencer Tracy was deathly ill when he did this movie. He actually died 17 days after filming. In fact, Katharine Hepburn had to apparently uh put up money from her salary to ensure that Spencer Tracy would be in this movie, because I think she knew it was going to be his last movie and she wanted to have one last movie with Spencer. And I think she felt like this would be the best thing for him to go off of. And honestly, it is an amazing. I've seen some great movies by Spencer Tracy. Him and Katharine Hepburn together are phenomenal. They are so great. There's a line in the movie where he talks about how much he loves Christine or whatever, the wife, played by Katharine Hepburn, but you can really tell he's really talking to Katharine. He might as well have just said her name, you know. Um, Maybe he did at one point, and then, they did not. Would love to see outtakes in this movie, because I guarantee you there were times he just couldn't. I mean, there was a lot to memorize. There was probably times he couldn't do this. He couldn't get all the lines. There's a huge monologue at the end that sort of steals the movie. Um, and Spencer commands the screen. He is so good in this movie. Once again, I think this is one of the best movies he could end on. I absolutely adored it. I know he didn't inherit the wind with Stanley Kramer, so yeah, I don't know how many other movies he did with Stanley, but them getting to work together one last time, and for something that I felt like had this really good message. And once again, it's gonna be tough because, like, you're gonna do a movie about racism, period, and you can't cut like you got to be careful as a character, like as the character, that if you play the character and he is absolutely racist, especially in the 60s, I don't know if they, like, sometimes they even knew the difference between the fact that that person is playing a racist and that person might actually be racist, and I'm gonna call him out on being, like, whatever. Nowadays, um people just know all these things about actors and everything, so nobody can whatever. But, like, I mean, that's just a powerful movie altogether. I absolutely adore it. I think it's so great and funny and charming and sweet, and has this, I don't know, it's just this feeling I get when I like a gushing feeling I get when I watch it. And I feel like more people should check it out. If you haven't gotten a chance to see it, and I just ruined some of the stuff for you, I mean, go watch it, because, like, I could say all these things till I'm blue in the face until you actually watch it and you feel it. Because this movie doesn't make you just, you don't just watch this movie, you feel this movie, and I can't say that, like, I make movies myself that are more entertainment, purposes. I don't know if I could ever write something this good. And I forgot who's the writer of this. William Rose did such a fantastic job. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I love it. And so I really, like, honestly, I just, like I said, I watched in the Heat of the Night. I actually like this better than in Heat of the Night. I think it's got still a powerful message about race, but I don't know, it's just so fucking well done. The acting, the actors, the situation, the story, the writing, everything just seems so much better. So that's my opinion on it anyway. So that's it. That's all I have to say. I absolutely adore this movie, and if you get a chance to watch it, please do because I think you also will get a chance to like once again, I'm so glad I saw it, period. I don't think the second time viewing it will give me, but maybe I will. But maybe I'll watch in a year or something, and I'll get a different feeling. Or maybe I'll do it for like Film Freaks, and we'll be able to talk about it a lot more. But this movie, this movie is really one that just gets me, and I loved it. So if you get a chance to watch it, please do. And if you've seen it, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Till then, everybody, bye.